With PDI Enterprise 8, I keep using this word revolutionary, and it's really hard for me not to use that word. And the reason why it's hard for me not to use that word is because as I look at what people are going to get out of changing to this particular version of PDI Enterprise, it's going to change their world. We started looking at things like ordering, sales forecasting, those things that had traditionally been parts of Store Assistant, and seeing what would happen if we really put them into PDI Enterprise. Whether you talk about being able to receive a delivery and impact inventory immediately and then catch the payable stuff up later, or even being able to bring event impact into something like a sales forecast so that when you get to Labor Day, it doesn't catch you off guard. The other thing we've been able to do is we've been able to say, okay, let's take sales forecasting out of ordering so that everybody gets it. It's almost like this great sort of pile of information that everybody can access. They don't have to recalculate it. So when I want to run a lost sales report in Focal Point, or I want to create an order in PDI Enterprise 8, either way, I've got this sales forecast that somebody's already gone through the trouble of calculating. All the sort of intensive processing's been done. I've got a very snappy access to that data. Or we start looking at kind of a little bit more mundane transactions like transfers and adjustments and receiving and that. And we said, what would happen if those transactions out on the floor on that handheld could have direct access to the price book, write the transactions directly to PDI Daily Reporting. And now with this, as we start to talk about the handheld or even the new PDI Enterprise web client, both of those actually have less IT overhead than the existing enterprise store level system. And I think it's going to fundamentally transform people's ability to do computer assisted ordering, people's ability to manage accurate real-time inventory. But on top of that, there's whole new areas we never touched before. What we realized is there was a whole area of purchasing especially, and the whole merchandise receiving process that we needed to crack open for people to really grab a hold of item inventory. We had people who wanted to take that electronic invoice, but the suppliers just couldn't move at a pace that kept the inventory at an accurate level. So we gave this whole new DR transaction called a delivery note, which essentially was a temporary inventory posting that kept your inventory right until payables could catch up. On the other side of that, credit requests have traditionally not been anything other than vendor communication. But the challenge is that when I take that reclaim and I send it off with my vendor, it's going out the door. And so my inventory was not accurate. So as we started talking about how to revolutionize inventory management, we said we really need to add another DR transaction type for credit requests. And so this whole brand new transaction type of a credit request was born in DR. We had it previously as a vendor communication, but that was as far as it went. And it couldn't take care of your inventory in the way that this new transaction type can. And I heard this story one time about these parents, and they're always telling kids, well, maybe someday, maybe someday, maybe someday. And one day they woke the kids up and they said, guess what today is? And they said, what? And they said, well, it's someday. And what they'd done was they'd kept up with some of the stuff that they'd kept saying maybe someday and made a nice little list out of it, and they squeezed as much of that into the day as they could. Well, with PDI Enterprise 8, someday's here. So we've had the chance to look at things like ordering and look at things like audits and how do we make those processes better, and we've used the feedback that we've been getting for 5-10 years on these processes, things that have always been just a little too big for us to chase right now. Today's that day. The enterprise system you'll have with PDI Enterprise 8, it's not just going to bring all of inventory management into a single solution. It's going to break open the doors on whole new business processes and transaction types that we've never been able to do before.